The year was 2087. Humans had built homes on Mars and Europa, and created ships that could travel faster than light. Alan Gregory checked the scanner readings for the 5th time. The signal was still there, pulsing steadily from somewhere in the darkness of space. "Diane, come look at this," he called to his shipmate. Diane Fisher floated across the bridge of the exploration ship Horizon *. Her brown hair drifted around her face in the low gravity. "What did you find?" she asked, looking at the screen. "I'm not sure. It's like nothing I've ever seen before. It's not random, but it's not one of our patterns either." Diane studied the signal. "Let's follow it," she said after a moment. "Command gave us permission to explore anything unusual." Alan nodded and set a new course. The Horizon * turned smoothly and accelerated toward the source of the mysterious signal. 2 days later, they reached a small asteroid belt around a nearby star. Hidden among the rocks was something that made both Alan and Diane gasp. A structure floated in space, massive and clearly artificial. It was shaped like a wheel with spokes leading to a center hub, and it spun slowly against the blackness of space. "It's at least 10 miles across," Alan whispered, as if someone might hear him. Their communication system suddenly lit up. A voice spoke in perfect English. "Greetings, humans of Earth vessel. You are welcome to Council Station Alpha. Please proceed to Docking Bay 14. Alan and Diane looked at each other in shock. First contact with alien life, and they were speaking English. After careful discussion, they decided to follow the instructions. The Horizon * approached the giant wheel and found an opening marked with pulsing blue lights. Inside was a docking bay large enough to hold dozens of ships of various shapes and sizes. As they stepped out of their ship, they found themselves facing a tall, thin being with gray-blue skin. Behind this alien stood several others, each one different from the last. "I am Veloff, speaker for the Galactic Council," said the tall alien. "We have been watching Earth for many centuries. Now that you have achieved faster-than-light travel, you are ready to join the greater community of species." Alan felt a chill down his spine despite the warm air. Something felt wrong about Veloff's friendly words. The aliens took them to a large room where representatives from over 50 different species sat in curved rows. Veloff explained that the Galactic Council had ruled the stars for thousands of years, keeping peace and helping younger species develop. "We wish to offer Earth membership in our council," Veloff said, "as a probationary species under our protection." Later, in private quarters given to them, Alan paced back and forth. "Did you notice how some of those aliens looked at us? Not like Veloff and his friends. They seemed worried." Diane nodded slowly. She had been reading the agreement Veloff had given them. "Alan, look at this section here and this one. It's hidden in complex language, but these terms would limit how far humans could expand. And this part, I think it would give the Council control over Earth's resources." Alan stopped pacing. "So their offer of protection is really more like control," Diane finished. "They don't want partners. They want servants." That night, a small alien with 4 arms slipped into their quarters. "I am Xorlan of the Nahur," it whispered. "What the speaker told you is not the full truth. Many of us have tried to warn new species, but the Council's elder races always silence us. Why contact us now?" Alan asked. Xorlan's large eyes blinked rapidly. "Because your people have developed technology in ways that frighten the Varan Empire, the true power behind the Council. Your understanding of quantum physics is unexpected. They fear what you might discover next." Alan and Diane looked at each other. They needed to warn Earth before it was too late. The Council had decided humanity's fate, but they wouldn't accept it without a fight. Frank Collins read the report from the Horizon * crew for the 3rd time. The United Nations meeting room was silent as everyone processed what Alan and Diane had discovered. "So this Galactic Council wants to put us on a leash," said Olivia Martinez, tapping her fingers on the table. The military strategist's eyes narrowed as she studied the images of the alien station. That's what it looks like, Frank agreed. The agreement they offered sounds nice on the surface, but the fine print tells a different story. The room was filled with Earth's top leaders and experts, gathered in New York to decide how to respond to the Council's offer. Outside, news of alien contact had spread across the planet. People celebrated in the streets, thinking this was the start of a bright new future. "Look at this data," Olivia said, showing charts on the large screen. The Council provided histories of other species they protected. At first, each species grew and prospered. But after 50 or 100 years, their growth slowed. Their colonies stopped expanding. Their new technologies became rare. Frank nodded. And look at the resource flows. Each of these protected worlds ended up sending more to the Council worlds than they received. They became farms for the elder races. An older man with gray hair stood up. "I'm not convinced. These aliens have technology thousands of years ahead of ours. If they wanted to destroy us, they could. Maybe protection is the best deal we can get. Or maybe they're not as strong as they want us to think," Olivia countered. This Sorlin told Alan and Diane that the Council fears our quantum physics research. Why would they fear us if we weren't a threat? The debate continued for hours. In the end, the world leaders agreed on a plan. Delay giving an answer to the Council while secretly preparing for possible conflict. Meanwhile, in a lab in Boston, engineer Kate Winters worked day and night on a new shield technology. The Council's terms had forbidden certain areas of research, which told her exactly what they feared most. "If they don't want us developing quantum shields," she told her team, "then that's exactly what we need to create." Kate barely slept. The equations filled her dreams. Something about the aliens' technology had a weakness. She could feel it. 3 weeks after the first contact, she stood back from her workbench and smiled. "It works," she said simply. The small device hummed quietly, creating an invisible barrier that their strongest weapons couldn't penetrate. Back in space, Alan and Diane continued to gather information. They pretended to be impressed with the Council, while secretly meeting with Sorlin and other unhappy alien species. The Varun have ruled through the Council for over 10,000 years. Sorlin explained during one secret meeting. They present themselves as wise elders, but they are conquerors. Any species that grows too powerful suddenly suffers natural disasters or unfortunate accidents until they are weakened. "How many species are unhappy with the Varun?" Ellen asked. "More than they know. My people, the Nair, remember life before Varun rule. The Cantari and Solus also keep their old histories alive. We have waited for a chance to challenge them, but no single species can stand against their fleet." Diane leaned forward. "What if you didn't have to stand alone?" On Earth, Frank received a coded message from the Horizon *. Potential allies existed among the Council races. Earth might not have to face the galactic bullies by itself. Olivia studied the military reports with growing concern. Council ships had been spotted near Pluto, watching Earth from a distance. "They're getting impatient," she told Frank. "They expected us to jump at their offer like eager puppies." Frank looked out the window at the night sky. "Then they don't understand humans very well. We've never been good at following orders, especially from those who don't have our best interests at heart." "What do we do when they demand an answer?" Olivia asked. Frank's expression hardened. "We buy more time. Kate's team needs to finish the shield technology. And we need to know more about these Varun and what they're really afraid of." 6 months passed. Earth's leaders had asked for time to study the Council's offer, claiming they needed to understand all the details before making such an important decision. The Council had agreed, but their patience was running out. Veloth's ship appeared in Earth orbit without warning. The blue-skinned alien requested an immediate meeting with Earth's representatives. Frank Collins and Olivia Martinez sat across from Veloth in the United Nations building. Veloth's long fingers tapped on the table between them. "The Council has been very patient, Valoth said. But we must have your answer now. Will Earth join the Galactic Council as a protected species? Frank kept his face calm. We appreciate the Council's offer, but we have some concerns about certain terms. Concerns? Valoth's eyes narrowed. What concerns could you possibly have about the protection of a body that has kept peace for thousands of years? We have prepared a counteroffer, Frank said, sliding a tablet across the table. We would like to join as equal members, not as a protected species. Valoth didn't even look at the tablet. That is not possible. New species must pass through a period of guidance. How long is this period? Olivia asked. The agreement doesn't specify. As long as necessary, Valoth said coldly. The Council decides when a species is ready for full membership. And how many species have ever been granted full membership? Frank asked, already knowing the answer from Sorlin's information. Valoth stood suddenly. I see humans are not as wise as we hoped. You leave the Council with no choice. Earth will be contained until you reconsider. After Valoth left, Frank turned to Olivia. What do you think contained means? They didn't have to wait long to find out. Within hours, sensors detected a fleet of ships appearing at the edge of the solar system. They positioned themselves in a sphere around Earth's solar system, cutting off all routes to the stars. Meanwhile, in his lab at MIT, scientist Peter Blackwood made an important discovery. He had been studying the Council's FTL communication technology from the data Alan and Diane sent back. Their entire network relies on artificial wormholes, he explained to Kate Winters over a secure line. But our approach to FTL is completely different. We bend space in a way they don't understand. Kate's eyes widened. So their monitoring systems might not detect our ships if we use our own FTL method. Exactly, Peter said. We could slip past their blockade. The United Nations Security Council gathered for an emergency vote. The Council's ultimatum was clear. Accept protected status or remain trapped in the solar system forever. We can't accept their terms, Frank argued. Once we do, they'll strip Earth of its resources and keep us weak forever. But can we fight the entire Galactic Council? Asked one of the representatives. Their technology is far beyond ours. Olivia stood. Not as far as they want us to think. Thanks to Kate Winters' shield technology and Peter Blackwood's FTL breakthrough, we have advantages they don't expect. The vote was unanimous. Earth would reject the Council's terms. When Frank delivered the news to Valoth via video link, the alien's calm mask finally cracked. You humans are making a grave mistake, Valoth said. The quarantine begins immediately. You have 30 days to reconsider before it becomes permanent. After the transmission ended, Frank turned to Olivia. 30 days to prepare. Olivia nodded. The Varun think they're dealing with just another young species they can bully into submission. But they've never met humans before, Frank said with a grim smile. We've never been good at accepting limits set by others. Across Earth, in secret facilities, humans prepared for resistance. Kate's shield technology was installed on key installations. Peter worked day and night to complete a new FTL system that could bypass the blockade. And in orbit around Jupiter, hidden from the Council's ships, the first warships of Earth's new fleet took shape. The Galactic Council had decided the fate of the galaxy many times before, but this time, humanity had decided to say no. Never before had Earth been so united. Old enemies put aside their differences to face the common threat from the stars. Colonel Jack Morrison stood before a map of the solar system, pointing out defense positions to military leaders from around the world. We've placed shield generators at these key points, he explained. If the Varun attack, they'll find us ready. Meanwhile, diplomat Lisa Chen worked in a different way. Using the information from Alan and Diane, she reached out to the unhappy species within the Council. Secret messages passed through the blockade using Peter's new FTL communication device. The Nair have agreed to meet, Lisa told Frank Collins, along with representatives from the Cantari and Solus. They've suffered under Varun rule for centuries and are willing to help us. Frank nodded. Where can we meet? The council watches all official meeting places. That's the best part, Lisa smiled. They suggested meeting on an abandoned moon in the Proxima system. The Varen think the place is worthless, so they don't monitor it. On Mars Colony, Governor Henry Wallace made a surprising discovery. A construction team digging foundations for a new dome uncovered strange metal objects buried deep in the Martian soil. These aren't natural, Henry told the science team examining the objects. And they're not ours. Dr. Sue Bradley studied the strange symbols carved into the metal. I think these are at least 50,000 years old, long before humans evolved. You mean the Varun have been here before? Henry asked. Sue nodded slowly. Or someone else. But if the Varen found evidence of this, they might have hidden it from us. It could explain why they're so interested in controlling Earth. Back on Earth, engineer Kate Winters completed her most important project yet. A small fleet of ships equipped with both her shield technology and Peter's new FTL drive was ready for action. They look like normal cargo ships, she explained to Captain Sam Rivera, who would lead the mission. The Varen won't look twice at them. Sam studied the ships with a sharp eye. And you're sure they can slip past the blockade? The Varen are watching for ships using their FTL network, Kate explained. They won't be looking for ships using our system. It's like they're guarding all the highways but don't know about the dirt roads. The plan was dangerous but necessary. Sam would lead the small fleet past the blockade to the meeting place in the Proxima system. There, they would establish a secret base and meet with the alien allies who opposed the Varen. The night before the mission, Frank, Olivia, and Lisa gathered with the ship crews for a final briefing. The council has ruled through fear for thousands of years, Frank told them. They've never faced a species that refused to be afraid. Lisa added, our new allies tell us that many species watch us now, secretly hoping we succeed. If Earth can stand against the council, others will find the courage to join us. As the crews prepared to board their ships, Alan and Diane returned from their long mission on the council station. They'd brought vital information about council ship movements and more allies willing to help. There's something else, Diane said quietly to the group of leaders. Sorlin showed us ancient records that the Varen keep hidden. They suggest humans are descended from a species called the Precursors, who fought the Varen long ago. The Precursors nearly won, Alan continued. But the Varen used a terrible weapon that destroyed most of their civilization. Earth may have been a colony that was forgotten after the war. The news spread quickly among Earth's leaders. Humanity's defiance wasn't just about freedom. It was about reclaiming a heritage that had been stolen from them. As the secret fleet prepared to launch, Sam looked at the Earth through the view screen of his ship, the Defiance *. The council decided the fate of the galaxy, he said to his crew. But they forgot to ask our permission. Under cover of a solar flare, the human ship slipped away from Earth, beginning the most daring mission in human history. The deadline was coming closer. Only 10 days remained before the Varen would make their blockade permanent. Inside the council chambers, something unusual was happening. Several members questioned the harsh treatment of Earth. The humans have shown remarkable ingenuity, said a delegate from the Mira species. Perhaps we should offer better terms. Valoth, speaking for the Varen, dismissed these concerns. Humans are dangerous. Their technology develops in unpredictable ways. They must be controlled before they threaten galactic stability. A junior council member named Trell listened carefully to these debates. After the meeting, he secretly contacted Lisa Chen using a hidden channel. The council is divided over Earth, Trell told her. Some admire your resistance. Others fear it will inspire similar defiance from other worlds. Are there other species who have resisted like us? Lisa asked. Trell's voice lowered. Yes, but the Varen quickly crushed them and erased their stories from official records. You are the first to resist so effectively. Meanwhile, Captain Sam Rivera's fleet successfully reached the abandoned moon in the Proxima system. Using Kate's stealth technology, they had slipped past the Varen blockade without detection. Sam met with representatives from the Near, Cantari, and Solus. The aliens were surprised by the humans' determination. For 10,000 years, the Varun have ruled through the council, said the Near delegate. Most species submit because they believe resistance is hopeless. Humans don't give up easily, Sam replied, even when the odds seem impossible. Together, they formed the beginnings of an alliance. The Near provided star maps showing weaknesses in Varun defenses. The Cantari offered advanced medical technology. The Solus shared sensor technology that could detect Varun ships from great distances. Back on Earth, the Varun grew impatient with the Council's debates. They decided to demonstrate their power by attacking Earth's lunar colony. A small show of force will bring the humans to their senses, the Varun commander told his fleet. 20 Varun warships appeared above the moon, their weapons charged. They expected an easy victory against the primitive human defenses. Instead, they met Kate's shield technology. The Varun weapons fired, but the shields held. The lunar colony remained untouched. Earth immediately broadcast this failed attack across all Council communication channels. The news spread quickly through the galaxy. A young species had successfully defended against the mighty Varun. In the Council chambers, the balance of power shifted. Members who had feared speaking against the Varun now openly questioned their leadership. If humans can resist Varun weapons, perhaps others can too, whispered delegates in the hallways. The Varun leader, a tall being named Zorax, was furious. For the first time in centuries, the Varun's authority was being challenged. He ordered a full battle fleet to prepare for a massive attack on Earth. We must crush this rebellion completely, Zorax told his commanders. No trace of human resistance can remain. Meanwhile, the secret human base in the Proxima system grew stronger. More alien ships arrived each day, bringing representatives from species tired of Varun control. Aboard the Defiance Sam received an urgent message from Alan and Diane. They had discovered coordinates to a place called Centrix Prime, where the ancient archives of the galaxy were kept. These archives contained the true history of the galaxy, Diane's message explained, including information about the precursors and how the Varun rose to power. Sam called a meeting with his alien allies. We need to get to these archives, he told them. The truth could be our most powerful weapon against the Varun. The Near captain nodded. My ship is the fastest. We can take a small team while the others continue building our forces here. On Earth, as the final days of the deadline approached, Colonel Jack Morrison prepared for the coming attack. Cities were protected by shield generators. Hidden weapons platforms orbited in stealth mode. Humanity would not surrender without a fight. The Varun had decided the fate of countless species before. But as their battle fleet prepared to crush Earth once and for all, they failed to understand one crucial fact. Humans had always been at their best when facing impossible odds. Alan Gregory and Diane Fisher boarded the Near ship with a small team. The sleek vessel could travel faster than any human ship, using technology the Varun didn't monitor closely. The archives on Centrix Prime are our best hope, Alan told the others. Their team included 2 Near scientists, a Cantari security expert, and Sam, who had insisted on joining the mission. If the precursors really were our ancestors, Diane said, the archives might tell us how they fought the Varun before. The journey to Centrix Prime took 3 days. The ancient world was covered in massive buildings and strange monuments. At the center stood the archive, a pyramid-shaped structure that rose into the clouds. The Varun allow only senior council members to visit the archive, explained Sorlin, who had joined them from the council station. But I know a hidden entrance used by the archive keepers. They slipped through service tunnels and rarely used corridors. The archive was huge inside, with countless shelves and data crystals storing the galaxy's true history. This way, Sorlin whispered, leading them to a sealed door deep within the structure. This section contains the restricted histories, the truths the Varun don't want anyone to know. Using Nihir override codes, they opened the door. Inside were the oldest records, some dating back over 50,000 years. What they discovered shocked even Xorlin. The Varun had not evolved to dominance naturally. They had systematically destroyed or enslaved every advanced civilization they encountered, stealing their technology and erasing their achievements from history. "Look at this," Diane called out. She had found records of the precursors, a species that had built a peaceful federation spanning half the galaxy. "The genetic markers match," she said, studying the ancient data. "Humans are definitely descended from the precursors. We aren't just similar. We are the precursors, or what's left of them." The records showed how the precursors had fought the Varun in a devastating war. When they were on the verge of victory, the Varun used a terrible weapon that damaged the fabric of space itself. Most precursor worlds were destroyed or cut off from the galaxy. "Earth must have been a remote colony," Alan said, "so far from the center that it was forgotten." "The Varun found Earth many times throughout history," Sam added, reading another file. "They deliberately interfered with human development, pushing us back to primitive states whenever we advanced too quickly." The team copied as many records as they could. As they prepared to leave, alarm signals blared through the archive. "We've been discovered," Xorlin said. "We must hurry." Fighting their way back to their ship, they escaped just as Varun security forces arrived. Their ship jumped to FTL, carrying the precious historical data back to their allies. Meanwhile on Earth, scientist Nicole Bradley made another crucial discovery while studying captured Varun technology. "Their entire FTL network has a flaw," she explained to Olivia and Frank. "They use artificial wormholes to travel and communicate across the galaxy. But those wormholes have a resonance frequency. If we hit that frequency with the right energy pulse, we could disrupt their entire network," Frank finished. "Exactly," Nicole said. "Their ships would be stranded wherever they are. Their communications would fail. The Varun Empire holds together because they can move quickly between star systems. Without that advantage," Olivia smiled, "they'd be vulnerable. How soon can you build a device to generate this energy pulse?" "A few days," Nicole answered. "But we'd need to place pulse generators at key points throughout the galaxy. Earth alone can't reach far enough." Frank nodded thoughtfully. "Then we need our new allies. If each species places these devices in their own systems." The plan was taking shape. Humanity would not only resist the Varun, they would help free the entire galaxy from their control. As the deadline expired, the Varun battle fleet began its approach to Earth. What they expected to be a simple punishment mission would instead become the beginning of their downfall. Word spread quickly among the oppressed species of the galaxy. The truth about the Varun, hidden for thousands of years, was finally revealed. Alan and Diane shared the archive data with their allies, who formed what they called the Free Species Alliance. Colonel Jack Morrison coordinated with alien military leaders to create a unified strategy. Frank Collins led diplomatic efforts to bring more council members to their side. "The Varun have lied to us all," Frank told representatives from 15 different species. "They aren't protectors. They're conquerors who keep us weak to maintain their power." The evidence from the archives was undeniable. Several mid-tier council species immediately declared their neutrality, refusing to help the Varun in their war against Earth. Meanwhile, Nicole Bradley's pulse generators were built and distributed to all allied worlds. Each device was small but powerful, designed to hit the exact frequency that would disrupt the Varun's FTL network. Once activated, these devices will prevent Varun ships from using their FTL drives, Nicole explained to the Allied commanders. "They'll be stuck wherever they are when we turn the system on." The plan was set. As the Varun battle fleet approached Earth, smaller Allied forces would attack Varun outposts throughout the galaxy, placing pulse generators at key points. Then, at a coordinated moment, they would activate the entire network. On the Varun homeworld, Supreme Commander Zorax felt confident. "The humans are brave but foolish," he told his war council. "Their resistance will end today." What Zorax didn't know was that the Nair had secretly provided Earth with the coordinates of the Varun homeworld. Captain Sam Rivera now led an Alliance fleet toward that very planet, using the human FTL drive that the Varan couldn't detect. The Varan fleet reached Earth and found the planet surrounded by shield bubbles. Their first attacks did nothing. "Their shields are stronger than expected," reported a Varan captain. "We need to bring in the heavy weapons." As the Varan prepared for a stronger attack, Colonel Morrison gave the signal. Hidden weapon platforms around Earth revealed themselves and opened fire. The Varan ships, caught by surprise, took heavy damage. At the same time, across the galaxy, Allied forces began their coordinated attacks on Varan outposts. Each successful mission placed another pulse generator in the FTL network. Commander Zorax received urgent messages from dozens of outposts. "We are under attack everywhere at once," he told his officers in disbelief. How can the humans have coordinated such a wide assault? The answer came soon enough. Sam's fleet arrived at the Varan homeworld, not to attack, but to broadcast. Using technology from their soulless allies, they bypassed Varan communication controls and sent a message to every screen and communication device on the planet. The message contained the truth from the archives: how the Varan had risen to power by destroying the precursors, how they had manipulated the Council for millennia, and how they had repeatedly sabotaged Earth's development. "We aren't here for revenge," Sam's message concluded. "We want freedom, for ourselves, and for every species the Varan have controlled. The time of Varan rule is over." Across the Varan homeworld, citizens watched in shock. Many had never questioned their leader's version of history. Now, faced with undeniable evidence, protests erupted in major cities. Back at Earth, the battle raged on. The Varan fleet was powerful, but Earth's defenses held firm. When the time came, Nicol Bradley activated the pulse generator network with a simple command. Across the galaxy, Varan ships suddenly lost their FTL capability. The mighty fleet attacking Earth was stranded, unable to call for reinforcements or retreat to safety. "What's happening?" demanded the Varan fleet commander. "Why can't we access the network?" In the council chambers, Veloth watched in disbelief as reports flooded in from across the galaxy. The supposedly primitive humans had not only defended themselves, but had organized a galaxy-wide rebellion against Varan rule. For the first time in 10,000 years, the Varan faced the possibility of defeat. The species they had tried to control had found their voice, inspired by humanity's simple but powerful message. No, the stranded Varan fleet faced a terrible choice: continue fighting a losing battle or surrender. Their proud commander refused to give up, ordering his ships to launch everything they had at Earth's defenses. Kate Winters had anticipated this. In her lab on Earth, she activated her newest creation, a weapon that specifically targeted the unique energy signatures of Varan technology. The weapon didn't harm other ships or systems, only Varan tech. "This won't destroy their ships," Kate explained to Colonel Morrison. "It will just shut down their weapons and engines. No one needs to die today." The pulse spread outward from Earth. One by one, the Varan ships went dark, floating harmlessly in space. Earth forces moved in to secure the disabled vessels. On the Varan homeworld, Supreme Commander Zorax watched his empire crumble. Protests filled the streets. Council members who had once feared the Varan now openly condemned them. Reports arrived from across the galaxy of Varan forces surrendering to local resistance fighters. How could this happen? Zorax asked his advisors. How could humans defeat us when so many others failed? The answer came from an unexpected source. Veloth, once the council's speaker and loyal servant of the Varan, entered Zorax's chamber. "The humans succeeded where others failed because they were not alone," Veloth said. "They united the galaxy against us by sharing the truth, not by using fear." Zorax had no choice. With his military broken and his political support gone, he agreed to negotiate. The Varan High Command sent a message to Earth. They were ready to talk. 1 year later, representatives from over 100 species gathered on Earth for the first summit of the reformed Galactic Alliance. The massive meeting took place in a new building constructed specially for the event in Geneva, Switzerland. Alan Gregory and Diane Fisher stood near the main entrance, greeting delegates as they arrived. So much had changed in a year. The Varun were now just one member among many, their special privileges gone. "I never thought I'd see this day," Diane said, watching ships from dozens of worlds landing nearby. So many different species, coming together as equals. Frank Collins and Olivia Martinez joined them, along with Thorlin, now a close friend to humanity. "The galaxy has entered a new age," Thorlin said. "For the first time in recorded history, species relate to each other as equals, not as rulers and subjects." Inside the hall, the summit opened with speeches from representatives of all major species. When it was Earth's turn, Frank stepped to the podium. "A year ago, the Galactic Council decided the fate of all species without their consent," he said. "Today we begin a new tradition. All voices will be heard. All species will have a say in decisions that affect them." The summit established new principles for the Alliance. Technology would be shared, not hoarded. Resources would be fairly distributed, and no species would have the right to control another. At the end of the day, Frank stood with Olivia on a balcony overlooking the gathered ships. "The Council decided our fate," he said quietly, "but they never expected us to decide our own." Kate Winters received special recognition for her technologies that had made victory possible without unnecessary bloodshed. The new alliance established research centers where scientists from all species could work together. Captain Sam Rivera was appointed commander of the first multi-species peacekeeping fleet. His first mission would be to help species long isolated by Varun blockades rejoin galactic society. Nicole Bradley's pulse generator technology was adapted for peaceful purposes, creating a new FTL network that all species could use equally. As the summit ended, delegates returned to their worlds carrying a message of hope. Humanity, once nearly erased from galactic history, had become the catalyst for a new era. The stars, once divided by fear and control, were now united by cooperation and truth. The Galactic Council had decided the fate of the galaxy many times before, but when humanity said no, they changed that fate forever.